For years, we've all heard the story of plastic choking our oceans. But what if I told you that's not even half the picture? Today, we're going to dig into a much bigger, almost invisible threat that's right under our feet: the silent contamination of our planet's soil by microplastics.
So, just for a second, close your eyes and picture it. When I say the words plastic pollution, what's the very first image that pops into your head?
I'm willing to bet it's something like this, right? A swirling vortex of bottles, bags, and all sorts of debris. We see these vast floating islands of trash, like the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, strangling marine life and turning our beautiful seas into a kind of plastic soup.
And the scale of that ocean problem is, well, it's absolutely staggering. Over 8 million tons of plastic waste make their way into our oceans every single year. To put that into perspective for you, that's like an entire garbage truck full of plastic being dumped into the ocean every single minute.
And that's all on top of the estimated 150 million tons that are already out there, just circulating in our marine environments. It's a massive environmental crisis for sure, and one that we've rightly been focused on for years.
But here's the real kicker with plastic. It doesn't biodegrade like an apple core or a piece of paper. It never really goes away. Instead, it just breaks up into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. And this brings us to these different categories. You've got the big stuff we can see, the macroplastics. Well, they break down into microplastics, which are these tiny fragments less than 5 millimeters across. And then they break down even further into nanoplastics, which are so small they're literally microscopic. So how does a big bottle turn into trillions of tiny particles? Well, it's a whole assault from the environment. UV radiation from the sun makes the plastic brittle. Waves and sand just grind it down. You've even got microbes and chemical reactions in the water that are all working together to tear these things apart.
For a long time, the ocean was the main character in this plastic pollution drama. But here's a question we really need to ask. Is it the whole story?
Okay, you might want to brace yourself for this one. According to research published in Nature Geoscience, our planet's soils are way more contaminated. They contain anywhere from 4 to 23 times more microplastic than all of our oceans combined. Just let that sink in for a minute.
I mean, look at this. While we've all been looking out at the sea, rightfully concerned, the ground beneath our feet has quietly become the planet's single largest reservoir for plastic pollution. We've been missing the biggest piece of the puzzle.
So, how is it all getting there? Well, the pathways are pretty much everywhere. You've got plastic films used in farming that get torn up and mixed into the soil. Sewage sludge, often used as fertilizer, is just full of microfibers from our clothes. Heck, plastic particles are even falling from the sky.
Okay, so there's plastic in the soil. Why should we care? I mean, really, what's the big deal? It matters because pretty much everything we eat depends on healthy, functioning soil. It is the literal foundation of our entire food supply. To get why this is so bad, you have to understand what makes soil healthy in the first place. It's all about structure. Think of healthy soil like a sponge. It has all these little pockets and pathways that allow water, air, and plant roots to move through it freely.
And you can literally see the difference. On the right, that's your healthy soil. It's light, it's fluffy, it's teeming with life. But on the left, that's damaged soil. It's dense, compacted, and waterlogged. There's no room for anything to breathe or grow. Microplastics are pushing our soil to the left.
These tiny plastic fragments are basically like physical vandals in the soil. They get in there and clog up all those crucial pore spaces. This makes it harder for the soil to hold water and air, which in turn makes it incredibly difficult for seeds to germinate and for roots to grow. This isn't some abstract problem. It's a direct threat to our ability to grow food.
And it's not just the plants that suffer. Microplastics are devastating the tiny organisms that keep our soil healthy. For example, one study found a 300% drop in the reproductive success of earthworms, who are basically the engineers of our soil in highly contaminated areas.
So here's the bottom line. It can take hundreds, sometimes thousands of years to form just 1 centimeter of good topsoil. But as we're seeing, we can poison it so much faster. By letting plastic degrade our soil, we are systematically dismantling the very foundation of our food security.
We've built a global movement to fight plastic in our oceans, and that's amazing. But the question this leaves us with is a really profound one. Now that we know the true epicenter of the problem is actually on land, poisoning the very earth that feeds us, what are we going to do about it?